Jumping over to Xbox, because why not? This is the first time they have ever given away a frame for free. When Styanax launched, 7th of September 2022, up until the 21st of September 2022, you could get him just by basically logging in. That's all it took to get a hold of this frame. If you do want to build him after the 21st of September, you have to, of course, complete the new war and then complete the Veilbreaker quest. And this is where it's going to get slightly spoilerish for a few seconds. I would kind of skip this part by about 10 seconds, because after that you have to come here, which in itself isn't really a huge spoiler. It's something to look forward to, but spoiler warning kind of now. Because what you will have to do to get a hold of his parts, complete the Veilbreaker quest, and come and see Carl, his best friend who, for some reason, keeps disappearing. Clipper has the parts for Styanax. Not bad. A D polarity, a dash polarity. I wish this had have been unlocked. It's a special frame. But obviously there's also 2 arcane slots, and, well, we're going to just throw the 2 highest level arcanes I have pretty much all the time in there, which is crit chance, and I need to finish maxing these out before anybody says it. The dash aura can be really useful. Don't use enemy radar, corrosive projection, or energy. Yeah. Why did my brain just fart on the word siphon? Would be best. I always go for that, obviously, but everybody keeps telling me his abilities are amazing. Of course, if you weren't able to get Styanax while he was free for whatever reason, there was a few glitches on console, he is available. Obviously, Clipper sells his parts, but he is in the marketplace for 175 platinum. Eventually, he wasn't at launch, but obviously he made it there eventually, because they didn't want people buying him instead of getting him free. His first ability, Axos, Javelin, yeah. Basically, when it hits a wall, or, for demonstration purposes, a floor, it does that. And it sucks all enemies in, and is supposed to deal damage to anybody that gets sucked into it. As you can see, it does exactly that. This is basically, as far as I can tell, good for doing this. That would, of course, be his spear. Oh, and you can also shoot his spear into it, the Apprentice. Which can be really, really handy, because now I want you all back, so can you... Thank you. Yeah, everybody, if you don't mind. Keep going. Really, really handy for getting everybody in there at the same time. And I'll just throw that in there again. And then throw this in there. And then why not shoot in there? Because it detonates. Yeah, okay. This ability is actually pretty useful because it can do exactly that. Huh, that's a dead guy. Stick an enemy to a wall and pull in other enemies with it. The second ability, Tharros Strike. Yeah, it's got kind of a, I'm going to say a limited range, but more importantly, notice the top of the bar of every single enemy here. That's right, none of them have any armor anymore. So link them up, we will get them all together with one. All have armor, all have no armor. Then we'll get them all back together again. Actually need to hit an enemy with it and shoot this off in there. Uh-huh. They're all dead. That's, huh. I do not think so. Dead. Now it's dead. Now everybody's dead. No survivors. Yeah, that's a thing that actually happened. I said it with Gaia. Gaia had the ability to wipe out level 180 enemies with ease. That was basically throwing his first ability into a wall to get everybody to come near it, dealing minimal damage, then using his second ability to strip their armor. And yeah, I think that's more down to the weapon than anything else, but being able to strip their armor, oh, it's great. Should also mention you do regain some health from doing that, because
I've talked to a few people about this, and if we actually go and have a look at the way that it's worded, repels enemies, yes, it will push them back a little bit, has a tiny little bit of stagger, hence I didn't even mention it. Styanax regenerates health for every enemy struck. This thing is a health regenerating one. The rally point ability can kind of not really show it that well in game, but it draws enemies' attention to Styanax, and it uplifts nearby enemies, regenerating their shields over time. No, it regenerates their energy over time. People keep telling me it's shields. No, it regenerates... Wait, don't go to the comment section yet. It regenerates their energy over time. It only regenerates shields. Activating this, that I really, really wish that we had one of those sticking out, something sticking out of the floor when we cast this, so it was based on an area just like that, which obviously it's not. That is the weapon in my hand. If we cast the ability again, it doesn't leave anything behind. It regenerates shields. Only on kills. And I've had this argument with a few different people. It's literally written there. Squad's energy over time regenerates. That's great. But Styanax and his allies also regenerate shields with every kill, or kill assist, that they contribute. So basically deal damage to enemies and you regenerate your shields when they die. And this is where I just have to hope that I am able to recover footage from my hard drive. Yeah, turns out that Final Stand, his fourth ability, they have in fact done what I expected them to do, which was one of the reasons I was holding off on this. And as good as this ability is, because being able to do that is actually dead. They were level 190s, by the way. We have one survivor. From using this ability once, we have but one survivor. And what they have done is they have made it so you cannot spam this from the air. Because you used to be able to cast it again in the air, and you can see it in the bottom right, ability in use. It doesn't reset until your feet hit the floor. This is to stop you from being able to just constantly do this. So the best way to get around this is land, cast it again. Land, cast it again. I'm aware there's no enemies there, but I'm just demonstrating this, but yeah. Bye, Mr. Next Possible Prime. Let's just quickly try this again, because what I want to do is... Could you do me a favour there, Mr. Heavy Grunier? So I can come over and go... Armour, off everyone. And then could you do me another favour and maybe get stuck to the wall again? So I can run all the way back here, because I forgot to pick up some power. And from the other side of the room, make your wall go away. Huh, didn't work. It actually worked better the first time round than it did this time round. They should still mostly die, but yeah, turns out distance is kind of a major factor to these, but hey, it still has the ability to do that to level 190 enemies. Is he powerful? Yes, he is still just as powerful and just as useful as he was then. This is their 50th frame. He needs to remain his very powerfulness. Otherwise, he would just suck. Considering, again, 50th Warframe, they gave him away for free for the first 2 weeks that he was around. I would have loved to have seen it be the whole of September, but no, 2 weeks. There was some slight issues with this that some people couldn't get it. I still don't have it on PlayStation, and it ends in a few days. But that's perfectly fine. When they eventually get some other things sorted, that won't be such a great deal, and at any point I can boot up the PlayStation, because they did fix the issue I was having with it at the time. But the fact that he is the 50th frame means that all of his abilities had to be amazing. And Axos Javelin, yeah, I saw this and thought, yeah, it's basically a really bad vortex. I think Vorbands, slightly better than this. It is better than this in every single way, but it still does exactly what it's meant to do. It pulls all the enemies into one area, at which point, if you're using a launcher, you can take pretty much any enemy out fairly quickly. Tharros Strike, the fact that it doesn't really strip armor, it lowers armor. It's something like 50% less armor, but it's enough that they become a lot weaker and a lot easier to take out. Rally Point adding regenerating energy and then regenerating shields on top. Yeah, this is great because of what his passive is. Remembering, of course, the passive for Styanax. Well, Styanax's crit chance increases with his shields and doubles for spear guns. That's one of the reasons I think I was taking out level 190s with the spear gun. It's also why you will notice I still have the spear gun in my hand. Even though technically not in this image, but overshields means more crit. So rally point, it makes sense because obviously the more damage you can deal to enemies, the higher your shield's going to be, the better the crit chance is going to be. And final stand, yes, I agree with people not being able to recast it in the air is something that even I had gotten used to and I'm still trying to use, even though it's been a few days since they actually made that change. But yeah, it had to be done, and it was the best way to nerf him without nerfing him, because he still has the damage, he still has everything about the ability that makes it great. The fact that you can increase the amount of javelins he throws from 30 up to 47 fairly easily. The explosive damage, the range of the explosions, the damage the slash does, which is of course the bleed out that took them out eventually over time, and it still works just as well as it did. You just can't spam it anymore, meaning that, yeah, okay, I'll admit, I kind of wish that they hadn't taken that away, but I understand why they did. And it was the quickest and easiest way to nerf him, and I was going to say, I can see them doing this, but they really beat me to it. I thought they would have left him as he was for at least the duration that he was free. But they didn't, which is a damn shame. All in all, I can honestly say Styanax, yes, he is the 50th frame, even though there is 62 or 63 actual frames. 63, because if you come and see Helmut, he tells you how many there is, and obviously I haven't subsumed him because, well, I kind of can't. Subsuming him will give his second ability to any frame that you obviously want to put this ability on, which can be really handy, but it does come at a bit of a cost. Of course, we have to end this the same way every time for a new frame when we can, and that's by saying, Styanax, you are a hell of a frame. You were not worthy of this, unlike other ones that of course were, so we'll leave this off here for now. Goodbye, Styanax. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.